Welcome to Now UTOKing, which is a series of short videos on how to define key terms in the UTOK framework. Today, we're defining the term metaphysics. Metaphysics is one of the most interesting concepts I know. On the one hand, it's almost synonymous with philosophy or first principles in philosophy. And when thought of this way, you have to think about it as one of the most important concepts in all of knowledge. On the other hand, it's often associated with the exact opposite meaning. That is, for many, meta refers to the stuff beyond this world and our knowledge of it, and has no grounding in science. For example, on many occasions, I've heard scientists say, now you're just talking metaphysics, to mean stuff that's speculative or supernatural or out of this world. My friend, the complexity theorist Jim Rutt, is fond of saying when he hears the word metaphysics, he reaches for his pistol. So what exactly is metaphysics? The Merriam-Webster's definition defines it as a division of philosophy that is concerned with the fundamental nature of reality and questions that include ontology, cosmology, and epistemology, terms that we will be defining in upcoming videos. It also gives the definition as abstract philosophical studies, including what is outside of objective experience. In these two definitions, we can see the two meanings I reference. First is at the center of our questions and knowledge about the fundamental structure of reality, and second, it reaches beyond that into a domain that's outside of our possible experience. So, because we have these two meanings from a UTOK perspective, we definitely need qualifiers. The first qualifier that I want to give is pure. Pure metaphysics refers to the second meaning. It refers to that which is outside of our experience and that which we can't necessarily gain contact with. So if we had the question, how many angels can dance on the head of a pin, kind of a classic scholastic question, we can identify this as a pure metaphysical question, and that we can't imagine any particular kind of relationship with experience with these concepts that would allow us to decipher the meaning of that question. On the other hand, consider the question, what do we mean by the concept of mind, and how does it relate to the concept of matter? Now, this is the famous mind-body question, and it is very apparent that we can connect these domains, matter and mind, to our observed experience, and it's apparent that we really don't know how to relate these concepts together. Indeed, one of the foundational arguments for UTOK is the argument that we reside in an enlightenment gap where we can't put matter and mind together in a coherent way. But these are aspects of our everyday experience. We can certainly observe matter and we can observe our own minds. So these things relate to our everyday experience. So the question of how we properly put these together is a relevant question in relationship to our knowledge. What I want to suggest then is I want to add the qualifiers of descriptive and systematic to metaphysics when we're dealing with elements that relate to our experience. So descriptive refers to the processes by which we're going to use terms, define them, and what they relate to in the world. And then systematic refers to the way in which we're going to connect those terms together to create a system of knowing. So, a metaphysical system, then, is the concepts and categories that are interrelated to generate a cosmology, meaning a worldview, that specifies the ontology, meaning what's real, and the epistemology, meaning how we know about it. This meaning is consistent with the description of metaphysics being given by Koons and Pickavants in 2014 in their book, Introduction to Metaphysics. They write, metaphysics is about the fundamental structure of reality as a whole. It's about how things go together in this world. Plato described the task of philosophy as carving nature at its joints, and metaphysics is the skillful and knowledgeable act of that dissection. They argue that there are four related domains of metaphysics, which they identify as things and their properties, between wholes and parts, between causes and effects, and between things and their relationship to each other on space and time. I would add the dimension between the knower and the known to give a fifth category of metaphysical consideration. So metaphysics fundamentally is about one's map of reality and knowing about it, and includes the concepts and categories and their interrelations to yield a cosmology. In UTOK, a crucial distinction is given between pure metaphysical speculation outside of the empirical world and a descriptive, systematic metaphysics that enables us to define our terms and their interrelations. And in that light, we can identify the centrality of metaphysics in relationship to UTOK's message. Specifically, the tree of knowledge system gives a new metaphysical system for specifying the ontology of the world in terms of energy, matter, life, mind, and culture, mapped by the scientific ontoepistemological processes that emerge in culture in the form of the physical sciences, the biological sciences, the psychological sciences, and the social sciences. So together what that is it's a cosmology that specifies an ontology via an epistemology. Thus, the tree of knowledge system is a descriptive metaphysical system for understanding our reality and how we know about it. Similarly, UTOK itself is really grounded on the appropriate dialectics between metaphysics, the concepts and categories and their interrelation, particularly that descriptive systematic metaphysics, tied to an empirical investigation of the world through our own psyches and through science. It's this metaphysical empirical continuum that actually sits right at the heart of the tree of life, in the middle of the trunk, whereby our task is to delineate the appropriate metaphysical empirical experiences of ourselves, our small me's, and ultimately develop a coherent metaphysical empirical picture of the world and our place in it.